Does Borderlands 2 hold up in 2024? This is a question I've been asking myself lately with the entire series. So today, we'll dive into the contents of Borderlands 2 and find out if it's as good as we think or if we are all just blinded by nostalgia.
Hey, how did pretzels suck? How's your day been, buddy?
The Borderlands 2 story is one that to this day I think about how good it is, though I have one minor gripe, and we will get to that. But for now, let's start with the intro. The intro of the game sets the tone perfectly. You get to know why your character is there and who the villain is all in one seamless cutscene. You are then introduced to Claptrap from Borderlands 1, who guides you to the beginning of the game, much like the first. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the whole story, as that's way too much for just this one video, but there is one part of Borderlands 2 story that bothers me to this day, and that part is the death of Roland. Many players hate Ava, a new character from Borderlands 3, and while I understand her character is written as a bratty teen who kinda brings the hate on herself, there's a glaring similarity between Maya's death and Roland's death. Both Lilith and Ava in their respective games were told to stay at Sanctuary, while Maya and Roland helped the Vault Hunter, and in both scenarios, they didn't listen and got Roland/Maya killed. I believe much of the community doesn't like Ava solely for this reason, yet in Borderlands 2, Lilith got Roland killed in the same way. Because Jack, from my perspective, only came down and shot Roland because he needed a siren to charge the vault key, and if Lilith would have just stayed back, it might not have happened. In my eyes, this did make the story better, but it's just something to think about. Maybe the community went a little too wild on Ava, who was just a teenager at the time of Maya's death, compared to Lilith, who was a full-fledged adult yet acted in the same light as Maya. Other than that, the Borderlands 2 story was awesome, and I can't recommend it enough. So now, let's move on to the atmosphere.
Oh, crap. Is you Hyperion? I heard all of you were robots and you eat metal out the garbage and stuff.
The atmosphere in this game is like no other I've seen to this day. The only other game with a world feel that can rival Borderlands 2 in my opinion is Elden Ring, and that came out almost 10 years later. When you are traveling through Pandora, interacting with NPCs, completing quests, and leveling, the world just feels so varied and massive, and that's without the DLC. When you add in the DLC and the headhunters, the game just feels never ending. And while we're on the subject of never ending, Borderlands 2's Endgame Loop is simple, yet infinitely customizable. You pick a build and refine it until it suits your needs. You want to stay on True Vault Hunter mode because Slag sucks and Ultimate Vault Hunter mode requires it? Okay, go ahead. You want to make a balls to the wall level 80 OP10 0 build and one-shot bosses with Boar? Sure, go ahead. You want to play the game, beat the story, get to level 35-ish and quit until 3 months later when you inevitably do it all over again? Alright, go ahead. You can do all that and more in Borderlands with the help of your Vault Hunter. With Borderlands 2, having 6 playable characters to choose from, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of variety in this game. From how you craft your build, to the weapons you wield, and everything in between. Now before we move on, I want to talk about the Vault Hunters in this game and their identity. When you play Maya, it feels miles different than playing Salvador or Zero. And I think Gearbox hit the nail on the head with the feel of these characters, and I hope we see something close to the way they made Borderlands 2's characters in the future. The loot in Borderlands 2 took a massive step up, and it honestly has some of the coolest loot in video games to this day. When you start the game, you have nothing but generic weapons and items, but as you get further in, legendaries start dropping, and these items have the ability to completely change the way you play the game. Take the Grog Nozzle for example. Using this rare pistol with certain characters like Salvador can make your build that much better, as the Grog has 65% lifesteal for all damage dealt, turning a very squishy Salvador into a walking tank.
Real badasses eat chocolate chip cookies. I'm gonna get that tattooed across my back in Old English font.
From Scooter, Ellie, and Moxie being related, to Face McShooty just wanting some lead to the face. The characters of Pandora are some of the most enjoyable and relatable characters I think I've ever seen in a video game, which is weird, right? Anyways, take Axton for example. He's a playable character, yet around the world in BL3, there are posters and skins for adult movies. And then lo and behold, Axton happened to be an adult film star. It's little things like this that make the game and its characters so much better than its predecessor. With all that being said, we must answer the question we started the video with. Does Borderlands 2 hold up in 2024? For me, it's a resounding yes. Borderlands 2 not only holds up to this day, but many games still take inspiration from Borderlands 2, which says so much about the game in itself. And that's not even the craziest part. To me, the craziest part is that no other looter shooter has came close to what Borderlands 2 accomplished in 2012. I mean, it's almost been 12 years. That is just crazy to me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed my video, please leave a like as it helps me out a ton. Anyways, thank you again. I hope you all have a good day, and see you next time.